How were you found by Liverpool? You were very young, of course, and you could have gone to Everton, but training facilities, I presume Liverpool were a step up.
Yeah, I think I'd gone on a coaching course. It was a residential course, and Jamie Carragher was on the course actually at the time, and it was ran by one of the coaches of Liverpool's Centre of Excellence. It was called. It wasn't called the Academy then. It was called the Centre of Excellence. And at the end of the week, I was supposed to be going for a trial at Tranmere. And the coach there asked me to come along to Liverpool, and the rest was history, really. A guy called Hughie McCauley, an exceptional coach. And funny enough, he was my coach from when I was 10 to when I was 18. Obviously, when he passed you over to the first team, it's like, go on, you've graduated now, away you go. And I think that was quite a sad moment, leaving that time period behind, and that coaching staff who'd brought you up, developed you in what is basically one of the most toughest institutions in world football to graduate from. You know, I include Barcelona and Real Madrid in that. I think Liverpool Football Club is one of the toughest institutions to graduate from.
That was one of the names I actually wrote down here, Hugh McCauley, but Steve Highwayman as well.
Steve Highway, Dave Shannon, them three, they put so much effort in. When I look back now, I mean, I've attempted to go into coaching and tried to do a bit of coaching with kids, and the level of detail and effort that them guys put in, and it was relentless. It was, you know, from when we were 10 to when we were 18. They were coaching us full-time when we were 16, and they made it fun. They made it tough. The standards were exceptionally high. The training sessions were always well-planned, well thought of, and when I look back now, I think three of the best youth coaches in world football.
What was it like? What was your schedule? And this is going back a long way, but what was your schedule like as a young player? I mean, you still had to go to school. When did you drop out? How many hours were you allowed to train? How did it work exactly?
I think from well, I never dropped out of school. I never bunked off school. But I think in my primary years, I did have a PE teacher that used to take us down to the leisure centre where there was an indoor five-a-side pitch, and every day he would take me out to lessons just to be on the other side. So he would play on one side, I would play on the other, just to make it competitive. And yeah, so you learn your trade that way. And then every day after school, you're taking the ball to school, you're playing at break time, you're playing after school, you're playing for your local county, you're playing for your local school side, and then you're playing for your Saturday team, your town. There's a lot of football. It seemed like, you know, Liverpool Football Club was twice a week going to the Centre of Excellence, the Tuesday and the Thursday, over at what was called the Vernon Sangster. But there was football every day for me, whether it was playing in the back streets or whether it was playing for the school or the town, the county. It was relentless. There was a lot of football.
Were you ever overawed as a young kid when you see, and I'm going to just guess that you did see some of the Liverpool legends on display, and you're just a little kid? I mean, I was looking at the squad, the Liverpool squad, when you first joined the club as a youngster. Just some of the names: Hansen, Lawrenson, Grobbelaar, Volby, Whelan, Rush, Aldridge, Sir Kenny.
Yeah.
Those are some names right there.
Yeah, there was. And I think going through them gates at Melwood, you can feel the history, you can feel the heritage when you go in there, and you feel that weight of expectation, and you carry that weight of expectation even when you go up to the stadium at Anfield. You feel it there, you feel the history. It's but you use that as a way to drive yourself forward. You use it not as a daunting prospect. You use it to carry you forward and think, you know what, I can contribute a little bit to this legacy.
What about John Barnes? I know you love John Barnes.
Yeah.
And I think any fan of football, of a certain age at least, would love John Barnes and the way he played.
Yeah, I think... I don't think I ever seen John Barnes be tackled in a game or even in training. I don't think I tackled him once or even got near him in training.
Really?
I don't think I ever seen him whack a football. I think everything he did was always considered and caressed. He was probably one of the most elegant footballers I've ever seen. One of the most intelligent footballers to pass on information to a youngster. We might touch on this later, but coming through at Liverpool at that time, I considered that there was a bit of a toxic culture in the club. was a really tough school, a bit of a bullying culture, not in a bad way, but to be better, intimidating at times. But John had a special persona about him. He had a way of imparting the knowledge and requirements to be a football and passing it on. And John used to drop me off at some of the reserve games, some of the training sessions as well. So, you know, just listening and just the way he was with everyone. I mean, he's a special, special man, special player.
I wanted to ask about that, exactly what you mentioned. By the time you broke into the side, it was very much in a transitional phase. There wasn't really much of a link left. I know Roy Evans was there and a few others, but Molby had gone, Barnes had gone, someone like Paul Ince had come into the picture. Do you think that disconnect from the old tradition of Liverpool, which you grew up with in the 80s, had a negative impact on your career, not having that influence?
I think, I think going in at that transitional period affected a lot of players. And, you know, I was talking to Steve McManaman. I actually had to do an interview with Steve McManaman about 3 weeks ago, and we were talking about the time when his contract was due for renewal. And, I mean, there was changes at the hierarchy with the board from Peter Robinson to Rick Parry. And the way Steve was allowed to go into the last year of his contract without being offered a substantial contract, considering he was probably the best player at the time at the club. We built a team around him. And how he was allowed to enter the last year of his contract. So, yeah, I think the culture and the transitional period that Liverpool were in was a bit of a mess, really. So I don't think it contributed to us doing well, us coming into a good time at Liverpool Football Club at that time.